Martin Short has spent decades being known for joy, timing, and comedy, but in his first major interview since the death of his daughter Katherine, the actor spoke about a private loss with rare directness and restraint. On May 10, 2026, Short appeared on CBS News Sunday Morning and addressed how his family is coping after Katherine Short died in February, at age 42. Before we continue, please subscribe, like, and share to support Starline Daily for more celebrity updates and trending entertainment news. The most important part of this story is what has been publicly confirmed and what Martin himself chose to say. Katherine Short died by suicide in February, and the Short family previously released a statement saying they were devastated by the loss and asking for privacy. In that statement, the family remembered Katherine for the light and joy she brought into the world. For months after that confirmation, Martin Short kept the public focus away from interviews and speculation. Then, during the CBS conversation, he described the loss as a nightmare for the family. He also spoke about mental health in the language of illness, comparing it to physical disease and saying that sometimes diseases can become terminal. Short said Katherine had struggled for a long time with serious mental health challenges, including borderline personality disorder. He did not frame her life only through her final days. Instead, the public record also shows that Katherine worked in mental health care herself. She was a licensed clinical social worker, worked in private practice, and also worked part-time with AME Health, where she provided support connected to outreach, family groups, peer support, and psychotherapy. That context matters because it keeps the story grounded in Katherine as a person, not just in the circumstances of her death. She studied psychology and gender sexuality studies at New York University, and later earned a master's degree in social work from the University of Southern California. Her public biography points to someone who is professionally connected to helping others, while also facing her own private battle. The interview also arrived as Martin Short is preparing for a deeply personal documentary, Marty, Life is Short, premiering on Netflix on May 12. The film looks back on his life and career, using archival footage, new interviews, and home movies. But the timing gives the documentary an added weight, because CBS reported that the film is dedicated in part to Katherine. Short's grief also sits inside a much longer story of loss. He has spoken publicly before about losing his older brother, and both parents before he was 21. His wife Nancy Dolman died of ovarian cancer in 2010. After 30 years of marriage. Together, Martin and Nancy adopted 3 children, Katherine, Oliver, and Henry. In the CBS interview, Short connected these losses not to bitterness, but to survival. He described grief as something that developed a kind of muscle in him, a perspective that shaped how he moved through life and performance. That does not make the loss smaller. It simply explains why, even in a moment this painful, Short spoke with a mix of honesty, control, and compassion. The clearest update now is that Martin Short has publicly acknowledged Katherine's death for the first time in a sit-down interview, while asking the public to understand mental illness as a serious disease. There is no need to speculate beyond that. The family has asked for privacy, and the most respectful way to cover the story is to stay with what has been confirmed. If this story brings up difficult feelings, help is available. In the U.S., the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline can be reached by calling or texting 988. Thank you for supporting Starline Daily. We'll continue following confirmed updates around Martin Short's documentary and public appearances with care, accuracy, and respect.